I was born ready.
You were born ready.
Ooh, I was actually gonna say that.
Wow.
Icon.
You guys were made for each other.
Well, I mean, yeah, we're kind of from the same
The hood?
area.
Straight out of Compton?
We're cut from the same cloth.
We're from the mean streets.
may also be a loincloth. Who knows, man?
Well, you had me at loincloth. Yeah.
Oh, jeez. All right. Well, hey guys, Scare9 here. Welcome back to my channel today. Episode 25 of the Last Word podcast. Is that right? I got a milestone correct?
Yes,
25.
right.
Boom.
It's on the Google Doc, so I changed it. So, yep.
25.
You are correct.
Did you guys download the beta? That's part of the weekly update. I know Icona did. Jay-Z, did you say you did it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So like I said, that music is gorgeous, man. Yep. It's so good. Just it blows my mind. I'm not a fan of classical music in any sense. I respect, like the scales and stuff. I like it as more of a science, but I don't enjoy it listening to it. But man, the Destiny music gets me it made me do a double take, and it brought tears to my eyes. No, it didn't do that, but when I first heard it, it's just you get this because it sounds a lot like the Destiny 1 opening, sort of, but kind of revamped. And so it was just a wave of nostalgia and I'm super pumped for this game, guys. I'm so
The last
excited.
bit of music that actually moved me that much was during the Axis fight in the raid. I don't know why, but that music just gets me every time. Is it only when you down him? I forget, but there's this music that plays. Oh no! After you're done with damage phase and he goes back to the center platform, he's about to wipe the team. There's that
where
music
it's got that
plays,
epic. Yeah,
where you have to run to the platform before you get blown up.
Mm-hmm.
I love that music so much, and honestly, this music that's playing right now for the Destiny 2 beta, that's the first time that music has gotten me since then. So
I'm not gonna lie, I straight up thought you were gonna be the last piece of music that has moved me was Raining Blood by Slayer or something
It's not that far, jeez.
Oh man, but yeah, I'm excited. Whoever does the sound, is it a specific orchestra? Or
they actually just did a video on that. Did you see that? That was at the IGN first today.
But it wasn't.
They're talking about sound design.
Yeah, but it was all weapons, shooting, and stuff. There wasn't.
No, they talked about music too. At the very end of it, they did a minute or so on music.
I might have to.
Yeah, I wasn't sure the music was going to be as good after Marty O'Donnell left.
No, it's so good, dude. It sounds really good.
Well,
no, it's good that they found good composers.
What's a Marty O'Donnell?
He was the composer for Bungie for years and years through the Halo days.
Because you can tell,
he left
Destiny 1 sounds like Halo as far as the music.
Yeah, he left halfway through or right after they, gold, Halo 1 or not Halo 1, Destiny 1 went gold or something like that. I can't remember exactly when he left, or they fired him. It was weird. Because he had been with them for years and years.
That's what there's that song that everyone once released that never got released in its entirety, the Oracles of Seasons or something like that. It's something
like that, yeah.
The orbs, the winter orbs. It's something weird. I would know it if I heard it. That's a pretty big thing. I didn't know the guy got fired though. That's crazy.
Yeah. He wasn't very happy about it either.
Well, I've just got to say that music for Rise of Iron and Destiny 2 have been the best music for Destiny. So I feel bad for that guy, but I definitely think it was a correct move. I'm not sure if he would have produced something better, but just compared to Destiny 1 and all the DLCs and Taken King and stuff, this stuff is much better. So, in my opinion, everyone has different musical tastes. And like I said, I don't even really like classical music, but this is, it's nice. It's crazy, too. When they did the Vidoc for Rise of Iron, just to see how many different instruments, and there's 20 people playing every instrument and stuff, the coordination is unbelievable. But it's so cool. It's so cool, man. Yeah, so you guys can go download the beta. It's really nice. Oh, also that loading symbol, where it's the Warlock, and then it does the thing, and then it turns into the Titan and the Hunter. I actually
Wait, what does
it do? You want to see it on stream? So it's they overlap like this, and they go.
No, I want to hear that sound again.
The exact sound again. Can you do that again?
Watata. Is that
good? Oh, is that it? Okay.
Yeah, that's it, man. So actually, I have the Hunter logo on my left screen and the Titan on my right screen. No Warlock because Warlocks are garbage. But I don't have a third
Warlock main, but at least I can show him some love.
I don't have a third monitor, dude. What am I supposed to do? You know?
Put it on your phone.
I'm not putting Warlocks anywhere near my phone. Oh man. But yeah, beta's gonna be super exciting. So you just real quick, I hate to spend so long on the weekly update, but so you know what dumbass Scarrow did, right? So last week I found out I was due for a dentist appointment. So I was like, oh, I'm free the week after this one. So I scheduled it. So we get the beta a day later already, right? And I scheduled my appointment on the Wednesday that we get it at 4:20 in the afternoon. So I'm going to miss, like, I'm trying to get it moved, but they don't have me open time slots just yet. But I'm going to miss, like, the first 2 days of the beta.
So wait, bro, are you going to be drugged when you come home and play the beta for the first time? Are you going to be on something?
No. I don't have any, I don't do...
cleaning, right?
Yeah, just cleaning.
It's just basic.
Yeah,
dude, do you see these teeth? You don't get cavities in teeth like these.
Oh,
nah, bro.
Wow.
I have an eye appointment. I just remembered on Wednesday. Fantastic.
Oh, Dad, we can get checked together.
I know, right?
Well, do you guys remember? Like, I was at it was like a month ago. It was about a month ago. I was at my appointment for my wife's ultrasound for my baby.
Ultrasound, yeah.
And we were standing in front of the receptionist. She was like, "Okay, we're gonna schedule your next month appointment. How does July 19th sound?" And I was like, "Ooh, yeah, that's not gonna work for me. Can we push that up a week?" And my wife just looked at me like, "Why are we pushing up this ultrasound a week?" And I'm like, "Oh, you know, I think I'm gonna have some stuff going on that day." And yeah, sure enough,
I think I might have some stuff going on.
So I totally rescheduled an appointment to see my baby again for Destiny 2. Dude, so that's not devotion. I don't know what is.
You're still in like what? It's only the second trimester, right? There's not a bunch of development.
She's 6 months. She's 6 months right now.
Yeah. So okay, you're heading into the third trimester. You're fine, man. I think the least happens in the third. I think the most happens in the first. So I think you'll be fine. I could be wrong, but you know, either way, it'll be there soon enough. You'll be wishing that it was back in the stomach. So.
I know.
Scarrow maternity ward doctor confirmed.
Confirmed, man. You know, got to get in that maternity ward.
Yeah, actually, Scarrow, can you deliver my baby?
Yeah, no. I'll cut the cord. Only if I get to keep it for stem cell research.
Oh gosh.
Oh, that just took a turn.
I just threw up in my mouth. Thank you.
Hey, dude, it's a nice moisturizer, don't you know? Jeez.
What is wrong with you?
Hey, I'm not taking his child. He can have it. I just want the leftovers.
You know that we're live right now, right? You know we're live on the podcast, right?
Episode 25, man. You got to make it interesting.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
Oh, goodness. Isn't this a Destiny podcast? What are we doing, man?
Yeah, welcome to the Icono's Wife's Afterbirth podcast, everybody. What the hell's going on?
At least he didn't say he wanted it so he could eat it. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
Wow, put the words in my mouth. Why don't
you? It's a delicacy.
Oh goodness! So I'm gonna have to edit that out. The final one, man. Okay. Woo. So let's move on to the real episode. Sentinel Titan, man. We got Sentinel Titan and Voidwalker. We got our first looks at both of them. Voidwalker, that super is intimidating though. But my question to you guys is: it is currently, if the Taken King subclasses are not coming back, it is currently the only non-mobile or non-roaming super. So how do you think? Like, do you think it's going to be powerful enough and versatile enough to make it? You know, because any roaming super, you're going to get like pretty much a whole team wipe. But with a super that you essentially stand in place and you can only hit, you know, 1 or 2 people. I know it's giant, but it's very, very unlikely you're going to find all 4 of the enemy people in one place, close enough to hit them within 1 Nova Bomb. So how do you think they are going to make it balanced is essentially what I'm asking.
Well, I mean, have you seen it? You saw the video of it, like what it looks like now, right?
Yeah,
it's basically a gigantic Axion dart that travels around the map and finds people, and it spits out more Axion darts as it's doing it. So in a way, I don't know, that's kind of a roaming super, dude. Like, this thing's just like going around hunting people, spitting out Axion darts. That thing's pretty terrifying now that I look at it. But the only thing I don't like is how slow it's moving. If you saw, like, if you watch that, that thing is slow. Like, you can outrun that pretty easily.
That's the thing. I'm thinking the blast radius might be big enough so you can't outrun it, though. You know, like.
Interesting.
But how do we know that that's the actual like? We don't know that there's not another version of that where you can do multiple multiple.
That's it. That's a good
bombs.
point. We don't. That's a really good point as well. We only saw one tree. There might be like a split, or what's it called? Is it split in
split, or you might be able to just throw like 3 of them.
Shatter.
Shatter.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like tether for Nova bombs? That would be hella sick, dude.
Yeah, like she does in the trailer. She basically does something similar to that.
Like right now they have Lance where it fires like as in a straight line and it fires like twice as fast.
But it'd be smaller.
Smaller,
yeah. If they did
it would
I would like that one.
Yeah,
I think the only appeal for a non-roaming super, so for every super to kill any other super in the game, it takes 2 hits. Whether it be Sentinel, Dawnblade, Arc Strider, Striker, I believe Golden Gun. Golden Gun does. I think Golden Gun has to be 2-shot as well. I think you get some armor. But so the big allure of a non-roaming subclass would be you can insta shut down other supers. It doesn't require 2 hits. Do you think that's enough?
Well, so that's the thing, though. PvE, this thing might do massive damage compared to
that's like other,
and it's a one hit thing. So you shoot it, you do massive damage, and you don't have to continuously like say with Destiny 1, throw hammers at a boss, or sit there and arc blade them or arc strider them. So plus that and the little bombs coming off of it look pretty cool. That when I first saw it, I kind of freaked out a little bit because I'm like, oh wow, super slow moving, and then I saw it start arcing towards the enemy, and then like
that's
things
the thing.
were coming
I'm
off
not
of
really
it.
sure if you go back and watch the gameplay. I'm not sure how much it actually tracks because we get a really bad angle.
I think it's slight tracks because it started moving right.
But that's the thing. It kind of looked like it started moving right, but it might have just been because the guy also started moving to the right. So the thing that gave it the illusion that it was tracking around the corner was that it was disappearing around the corner. But I think a big part of that is the guy was also moving. He was strafing to the right. So if it was moving in a straight line, you could see less and less and less of the bomb. And if you weren't paying attention, it would seem like it was tracking. So I'm not saying it doesn't track, because I initially thought it did as well. But I'm not sure if it tracks as much as it seems because he was strafing the same way around a corner, which would make it seem like it tracks more. So
but for that class for PvP, I think the big allure for it is going to be the blink more than anything. Honestly, the Nova Bomb's going to be a shutdown super or whatever. But the grenades look. I don't know how I feel about that grenade that they kept throwing. The one where it like drops it and then it drops like 6 other grenades. That come off of it.
I think it's a scatter grenade.
It's a scatter,
but it's just more.
It looks completely different.
Yeah, it's just wider spread. So it's more of a crowd control rather than like how like if you're in chase right now in Destiny 1, you just turn around, throw a scatter grenade, and it kills. It pretty much kills someone. So I think this is going to be very much more focused towards hitting multiple enemies, like on a control point or something, versus just hitting one.
See, I wasn't sure if that was the new like Axiom bolt basically.
No, it was definitely the scatter. Like it looked like Axiom bolts were coming out of it.
Yeah,
but it was most definitely a scatter grenade because it had like the symbol and stuff. So, I don't know, man. I'm pretty excited for that. I want to try it out, and we'll get to try it in the beta. We got confirmation that we will be able to try all 6 known subclasses in the beta.
That was literally the only piece of juicy content today's in the TWAB this week. Was that they finally confirmed that. To answer your question though, how viable it's going to be, I don't know. I would want us to actually talk about that, like, because I've already staked my claim that the Titan America is already super OP.
So I want to talk about that. That's actually part of this too. So Sentinel, it has a ranged attack. It has the ability to do the Word of Dawn. It has the melee. It has a very quick turnaround. he got like 2 kills in like literally half a second. Like, it does look super powerful. And I think people's main argument was that the Arc Strider did not have any range. However, if you go back and look at some of the footage, I was going to make a video on this today, and upon further inspection, it seems like more people know about this than I thought. But there's a move you can do with Arc Strider. I'm not sure how you do it, where while you're in your super, it takes your melee charge, but you actually do like a Razor's Edge thing, like a Blade Dancer, but it like throws it in air, and it seems to have some pretty good range on it. And in some gameplay, I even saw someone get a double kill with it. So there is a ranged attack for the Arc Strider as well. Not sure. I mean, that changes it a bit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's probably is that one of the skill trees, like a special ability?
Maybe,
or is it...
maybe.
Okay. Because I thought they released the skill tree, and I don't remember seeing that on there, but...
Yeah. I mean, we'll see, man. Jeez.
I don't know, like, we really haven't seen enough from Arc Strider, to be honest. We can't really make too strong of an opinion yet, because we haven't really seen too much of it. I guess what my concern is that I was already kind of concerned about the Voidwalker in general. Yeah, I really am, now that it's not a roaming super. Like,
but that's the thing, it's the only shutdown super. So when you go into trials, people will pick a lot of the time Striker over Hammer Titan because they have that shutdown capability. So if you look at it like that,
yeah.
What were you saying?
Oh, it's going to be harder to miss with that huge Nova Bomb.
That's a good point. You can't tisk your super anymore.
Yeah.
Because... But, yeah, so I'm pretty excited. I'm sticking with the Hunter for the beta, if you can only have one character, even though I really want to try Sentinel because it looks nice.
I'll be on my Sentinel.
Yeah, if we can only have one character, Icono, I'm counting on you for some good gameplay, man.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be on my Sentinel. I'm gonna be turning it up.
Here's the deal. All right, me and you will 1v1 in the beta, or we'll try to make this happen. I'm not sure how this will work in a public lobby.
I don't either.
we'll have a competition, and if you can manage to beat me with a Sentinel Titan and I'm on Arc Strider, it is official that Sentinel Titan is like years better than the Arc Strider. Sound good?
Yeah, we'll use me as the measuring stick for PvP godness for the Titan America.
Well, I was thinking giving you the class that we think is overpowered and giving the better player, no offense, but I think that's a general consensus, a class that's considered underpowered. So you have it's like giving a person who's never shot a gun before, a 50 caliber, and giving me like a 22.
But they also showed in the gameplay from IGN that the Arc Strider beat out the Sentinel Titan in a one-on-one matchup. They did,
actually. I think it hits faster, and those freaking flips are so cheeky, man. And the Sentinel Titan beat the Dawnblade in yesterday's, so Arc Strider beat Sentinel, which beat Dawnblade. So it looks like Arc Strider is on top, my friends.
For PvP.
For PvP,
yeah.
For PvE, I mean, I have literally no reason to load up my Hunter as of what I've seen right now.
Yeah, you just wait, man. There is that tweet where he was like, someone's like, are there going to be Taken King subclasses? And he's like, we are not confirming what secret things will be hidden. He didn't even say, like, we're not confirming or denying what things will not or will. Like, the only
It's like he answered a completely different question.
But I'm just saying, like, there was no negative points to that tweet. Like, he all but confirmed it in my eyes. And then we had that leak a while back that was like every single thing. It was the day before the Destiny reveal event. Every single thing on that post was correct. Everything. Except for 2 things we haven't had confirmation on, which are the Trials of the 9 and the Taken King subclasses. But literally every other detail on that thing, like to the word, has been confirmed correct. Which is, I mean, that kind of... And it was a bunch of stuff, too. It was the new weapon system. It was the new Strike. It was the new Crucible maps, 4v4 in Crucible. All of it was right. But just the rest of it hasn't been confirmed yet. So I'm thinking they've got to be returning, you know? But yeah, so Sentinel Titan, I'm thinking it might be pretty powerful. Very versatile. But... I don't know. I think people are... I was one of the people, too. Like, immediately after I saw that gameplay, I was like, holy crap. But they also said that the person playing the Sentinel Titan was a Bungie developer, but the person playing Voidwalker and the person and Destin was playing Hunter, which is why we don't have any Hunter gameplay, because he said it all sucked. But the person playing the Sentinel gameplay, which looks so good, is literally the person that's been playing the game for like a year now. So it might not actually be as good as it looks. He was just dominating noobs that had never played the game. So there's always that, man. But
not even just play though. I was just thinking of the versatility mainly.
Yeah.
You know, just the fact that it's a defensive and it's got 2 offensive modes. Mm-hmm. You know, the Voidwalker just throws a big ball. Like, as far as we know, there's no defensive mode for Voidwalker. There's no defensive mode for
Blink.
Yeah, there's Blink. That's what I found interesting.
But when I say defensive mode, I mean like I guess I'm more
Bubble.
talking like good things for your teammates too. Like I'm trying to think of like applications in the raid is what I'm thinking of.
Oh,
you can always put down the healing or the defensive.
The Warlock has like the support ability.
Yeah.
Man.
But what about the Hunter though?
The Hunter's never been a team player.
Well, Night Stalker is like one of the most. I mean, if you're in a raid and you're not using Night Stalker, I don't know what you're doing.
Using Celestial Nighthawk. Duh.
Ugh. All right, I suppose.
Yeah.
But,
that's only a few instances, though.
Yeah. Well, okay. What I meant, like, character-wise, what Hunters are supposed to be, they are the lone wolf. They're not a...
Yes, correct. Yeah.
But, you know, with the Taken King subclass is probably coming back at this point. Maybe. Who knows? Then they will have one. It just, I mean, if you look at it like that, that was the Hunter's biggest problem in Destiny 1, is that it didn't have any support. So, like, you had, like... Sunsinger, which could increase like grenade stuff and self-res, and that was a pretty support class in raids. And then, of course, you had Defender Titan, but Hunters didn't have anything. I don't see them repeating that mistake, you know? Because, like, in year 1 Destiny, there was literally no reason to bring a Hunter into a raid. But I think they would bring the Taken King subclasses back just because of the Hunters...
Yeah, there was a reason to bring a Hunter in the raid year 1. Crota, the invisibility thing.
Oh yeah,
on that fight.
It was, yeah, okay. There's but that was another thing. Like, that strategy isn't focused on team either. That's focused on the individual.
No, it's definitely an individualistic thing. Yeah, but I mean you had to have, or you didn't have to, but you.
I made it a hell ton easier, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you could stand up, you could stab him, go in invis, and then pick up the sword again.
Yeah. Let's see what chat has to think about all of this, man. Zesius says, Hunter's better at DPS than the other two. I mean, 6 Golden Gun shots with crits. So I'm not sure if crits count on Golden Gun. But that's the thing. The 6 seems like it would be really good. But, I mean, even taking down like a Centurion, it took like 3 shots. So I'm not sure if that'll be that good. I'm thinking the subclasses from Taken King are going to have to come back. He also said then Hunters can also reload power weapons instantly with their class abilities. That's going to be a big one. Being able to... they're just so agile, you know? Where... Oh, I want to touch on this, actually. This is something I forgot. So in the gameplay, we could see the Titans kind of Titan skating. And so they came out and commented the reason that they were moving so quickly was because it was a different build, and it was a more recent, it was a more recent build, but the movement system hadn't been updated as much in that build as at the reveal event. So we're not really sure if the Titans are going to move that fast in the finished product, or if that was just like the Destiny 1 movement system. They just hadn't upgraded it within that certain build. So Titans might not actually be able to skate, even though it looked like it was in every bit of gameplay that IGN has put out. So who knows right there, man. Let's see.
Would you like it if they included, like, I guess we got our opinions on if that's a good thing or a bad thing?
What?
Titan skating and Warlock speed gliding?
Bad. I think...
Yeah, no, I agree, because I think the Hunters were made to be the fastest class in the game, and they ended up being the slowest class with the jumps.
Think, especially with what we're going to talk about next, the size of the Crucible maps. I mean, those Titans were getting around the entire thing so quickly. So probably not. Let's see. Savage says, are there any good PvE subclasses yet? All of them look geared towards more PvP than PvE. And I will kind of agree with that.
Sentinel.
I would. Well, I mean... Roaming subclasses have never been the best in PvE, though. You know, like,
but it's not roaming if you use bubble. If you're in a fire team of 3,
but the bubble's only armor of light, so like I mean you can look at.
But the Voidwalker can put down a healing ward and then throw a Nova Bomb at a boss and do massive damage.
I'm thinking that's gonna be the Celestial Nighthawk of Destiny 2 to start off with. It's gonna be the Nova Bomb. I feel like, especially if there's some Lance perk that allows it to do more damage initially, you know. But I'll agree. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sentinel looks like it's going to be good. You know, you have the bubble, but once again, how much versatility can you get out of an armor of light bubble? You know, like bosses aren't coming into your bubble most of the time unless you're fighting like thralls or something. You know. Let's see. Is anyone else saying anything?
Well, also Titans can put up the barriers too, which is a PvE.
That's true.
Type ability. And then even the one where you can like duck under and it reloads your weapon.
Yeah.
And then come back up. That's more PvE.
Let's see, man. Cyber Dragon says it would make sense for Bungie to at least add something similar to the Night Stalker, considering that Arc Strider and Gunslinger aren't as much of a team subclass, and we kind of hit on that as well, and that's very true. You know, just based off of like the Hunter's personality, you know, they're not supposed to be really team players, but it would still make sense if they did have something, because it would extend their versatility. So I think they need to have some type of team super. Yeah, I mean, pretty much everything. Jason just asked if we think that the Word of Dawn is going to be good for PvE. I mean, so Icono, do you, like, I haven't heard you weigh in on this. You know, you keep bringing up the bubble. Do you think there's going to be some type of exotic or something? Because there definitely won't be a class for it, I don't think. Like a pathway. Do you think there's going to be an exotic that's like, you know, you get blessings of light on your bubble or something? Or do you think the bubble is going to be strictly limited to armor?
I would assume that it's going to be strictly limited to just being a defensive deal. If you want to get that damage bonus, just coordinate with your team. If you've got a Warlock on your team, just have your Warlock put one of those extra damage pools right next to the bubble so people can go in and out of the bubble to get that damage going. Mm-hmm. That's the way I think that's going to end up working in the raid.
Yeah.
That's
going to be the strategy for sure. Like one healing rift, one damage rift in the bubble. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So.
Well, I think, is the damage boost only if you're standing in it, or does it linger after you leave it?
That's a really good question.
That's what actually. I'm thinking that it only works while you're standing in it. So you're going to have to tell your team, all right, I'm putting the bubble here, put the rift right next to it. So
right next to it, yeah.
And then jump in and out of the bubble that way. If that becomes a strat for the raid, then that would make a whole hell of a lot of sense. But, you know, we go back to the other point, though. It's like, well, then what's the Hunter doing?
Yeah.
So to answer your question, no, I don't think that they're going to do anything offensive with the Ward of Dawn. I don't know why they would. I mean, the Sentinel's already too freaking powerful as it is. If you wanted to do something offensive with the Sentinel, you would just start throwing your Captain America shield. You wouldn't even put the bubble up in the first place.
Mm-hmm. I really agree with that. I think they need to make it strictly defensive.
I think it's more like an oh crap type of throwdown, basically like, oh crap, I'm about to die. You know, let me throw this down so I can get my shields and withstand that. You know, even if it's a melee hit, you should be able to withstand that with the armor of,
just to move on, Owen Taylor asks, is the second branch for Gunslinger 3 golden gunshots or 6? So I believe it's the top one is 6, the bottom one is still 3, but we haven't seen any gameplay of that yet. So there will be a branch with only 3 golden gunshots. They'll be a little bit more powerful, and it will be geared towards something else, which I totally forget, so excuse that. But yes, there will be one with 3. Beetle Eagle says, I think that there will be perks for branches that give you different buffs, but not blessing or weapons because that is already given to Warlocks. Yeah, pretty much. And like Icono was saying, it's already such an offensive super, it wouldn't make sense to give you any other perks that you can, like, as much as you want to say blessings is a defensive super, it's not, because it allows you to rush towards enemies and have that extra bit of overshield and stuff. Defensive means, you know, you want to hunker down into one place, and blessing doesn't really promote that. It just promotes you staying alive for longer while roaming around. But I'm really interested to see how this all turns out. I think the beta will be a really good, time to try to set up our world's first team, because we can get it organized like those strats like Icano just said with the placing the weapons rift right in front of the bubble and stuff. I'm really interested to see how that works out. But I am a firm believer that the Taken King subclasses are going to be in Destiny 2. I will still main a hunter for now, even if that does not happen. It doesn't make any sense to me. Or they're going to have some type of exotic that makes them viable in PvE, but I can't think of a single thing that would do that, So, who knows? But, yeah, that's pretty much that. You guys have anything else to say on the new subclasses? Well, okay, there's one more, actually. There's one more. That kind of leads into the next one. So, Shoulder Charge now takes a melee, and it is no longer a one-hit kill. In fact, it looks like a 3-hit kill, like the regular melee. So, are you guys happy about that? Or do you think making a 3-hit kill instead of a 2-hit kill was kind of overkill, like bringing the truth down from 3 rockets to 1? Do you think they stepped too far? Or do you think that's a good nerf just because it adds mobility, it's already super fast, and that kind of stuff? What do you guys think?
Well, with it being a roaming super, you're getting a lot more. Are you talking about the shoulder charge just in general?
No, yeah. Just a regular shoulder charge, not the super.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the super version. Okay, well, I honestly, I don't know that much about it. So I'm just taking everything that you're telling me at face value. I'll just trust you. And if you're telling me that it takes 3 hits...
Yeah, it was about 90 points of damage. Yeah, it didn't even go through their shield.
I mean, that's great. I mean, because that's one of the biggest complaints right now from people is, you can't really dodge it in time usually. I said, they're coming around the corner, you're dead. Mm-hmm. So... yeah, that's probably great news. I don't know, as a Titan player, if I'm going to necessarily enjoy that, but, I mean, it sounds like the time to kill has been extended for everything, so I wouldn't be surprised if it, I guess I would expect it to do something like that, because they're making the TTK for everything longer, so why not that?
Yeah, okay. I agree with that. I just, it's kind of the thing where, looking at it, it made me do a double take. And this is what I love when they do stuff like this, because it adds a lot of variety to the game. But, is it... because melee charges, they're supposed to do something a little bit extra. I'm not really sure. So the hunter, the hunter gets like a little bit of range. So I think what they're focusing on doing in Destiny 2 is just giving them kind of an added... attribute, but without making them super powerful in terms of damage. So, like, the Hunter gets the range. Titan, it goes a lot faster. Like, he's just running around, extra mobile. It's got a little bit more lock on than a regular melee. Not really sure what Warlocks have, but they did confirm that all melees are going to be capped, and they're going to have the exact same range of, I think, 4.5 meters. It might have been 3.5, which is, that's still pretty far. It's like 9 feet. Though that's not right.
I would be...
Maybe it's 3... No, it's 3.5 feet, I think they said, not meters. Because it would... This is 9 meters. Or this is 3 meters right there in game. So that's got to be too far. So yeah, they had to have said feet. That's my bad.
So I think with the shoulder charge that they should make it a 2-hit kill, honestly. But I like that it's not a 1-hit kill, because that you had to anticipate in Destiny 1 a shoulder charge, and half the time you don't even know it's coming. It's coming from the side, and it's a 1-hit kill. And they can even go around corners. So yeah, I'm happy, but I'm happy that it takes a melee charge too, because they can't just continuously do it, like keep running and do it. So
yeah,
definitely happy about that.
Yeah, I'm happy about that too. I think at the end of the day, I think it's a good change. Like I said, I think they need to focus on adding those extra attributes to melees rather than just making them super powerful, make them more versatile, which is pretty much what they're doing in the entire game, which is nice. But moving on to the new Crucible maps. So we got 2 new looks at Crucible maps. Endless Veil, which will be the control map in the beta, and Vostok, or the Iron Temple Returned, as a PvP map. And just the one thing I want to say right off the bat is these are really small, circular maps, which I'm actually a fan of. But Bungie seems to have problems with balancing maps in the past. And both of these looked fairly balanced for control. There's always a center point. There's no... From what it looked like, there wasn't any one spawn that got to B flag sooner. Everyone had an equal opportunity to get there. And then with the map like Vostok, they actually put a giant sniper tower on each of the 3 flags. So you can actually, like, defend your flag, which is such a cool idea, But I want to know what you guys think. Are you know, it's 4v4 now, so they had to make the maps a little bit slower. But everyone in chat, you two, let's start with Jay-Z for this one. Are you liking the more fast-paced version of Control?
Yes and no. I thought they said on the reveal, though, of Vostok that it was a medium to large size map.
They did say it was like a larger map, but it was tiny for... I mean, it was probably...
I didn't think it didn't look tiny, but maybe for Control, you know...
Compared to Destiny 1, so I would say it's about somewhere between 1/2 and 2/3 of the size of Rusted Lands, I would say.
Yeah, which... No, I think they need to make it more compact and, like, things like that and give you different angles to come in. Vostok looked awesome. They didn't show any gameplay. They just showed the guy running around the map, but to me it looked...
No, there were two gameplays. I just didn't send them to you.
Oh, were they?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. But the thing that was really interesting for me was it flows so much better than I thought as a Crucible map. So it almost made me think, you know, Destiny 2's been in development for a long time. So did they kind of come up with this idea for the Iron Temple in Destiny 2, and then they're like, hey, we can use that in Destiny 1? Because that area, if you go back and look, it is a Crucible map. It's very circular. It's very balanced. Yeah. Obviously, Destiny 1, you don't have that intensive cave system running through the middle of it. A couple of those buildings aren't opened up and stuff. But, I mean, it looks like it was designed to be a Crucible map. So I'm wondering if it was just some guy was like, hey, this actually, like, we have a perfect circle right here. Let's just use that. Or if someone was like...
Social space.
Yeah. Well, no, like... So if it was the other way around, so if it was designed as a social space first, and some guy was like, out of all the social spaces, this is by far the most balanced. And then they brought in a Crucible map, or if someone in Destiny 2 was like, you know, we don't really have anything for the Iron Lords, so let's make like their area. And then Christopher Barrett saw it, and he's like, you know what, this would be the perfect basis for this DLC I'm working on. You know? So I would not be surprised. I mean, it could be either one of those, but I would not be surprised if it was a Crucible map first, because it's so weird that something like such an insignificant area would be just a perfect Crucible map, you know?
Yeah, I love it, the design, and well, I mean, I like the social space, but as far as a Crucible map, like not only do you get nostalgia from, you know, spending hours there and everything, but just the geometry and everything is really sweet on it. So yeah. I'm excited to play on that one. Really excited to play on that one.
The thing, I'll get to you in a second, Icona, but the thing that I really liked about it, so they're bringing back old stuff, which we'll talk about in a bit, but it's not just a copy and paste of that area. You know, they added a couple new buildings, maybe not added, but they opened up a couple new buildings we had never seen before. They added sniper towers. There's an entire cave network that's definitely not there in Destiny 1. They definitely added to this area, so when they could have been a little bit lazy and just literally taken this stuff and just like push it over there, you know, with a couple redesigns for higher renders. I mean, they put work into it, which is really awesome, and I think I'm gonna really enjoy it. But what do you think about it? The two maps, either one of them. What do you think, man?
What's the one that? What's the other one? Not the Iron Temple one. What's the other one called?
Endless Veil.
Endless Veil. I love that map. I love the way it looks. Mm-hmm. It looked very fast. It looked very. The thing that made it nice for me, you know, I'm not a Crucible guy, but the thing that I always look for in Crucible maps are maps that are easy to pick up for the first time. And what I noticed about the Endless Veil when I was watching gameplay on it, I already kind of felt like I had an understanding of the layout of the map within like the first 30 seconds of watching the match. I was like, okay, he's on the left side. All right, that's the center. Okay, I got it. That's where B spawns. You know, it's like I just got it. And that's a really good way to build a map like that. If it's easy to quickly identify where all the key points are very early on in the map, in the match, then that's a good selling point to a map like that for me. So that's the first thing I noticed about that map is it looked very familiar. I felt like I'd already played on it before, you know. The Iron Temple one, that really caught me off guard. Honestly, I'm excited to play on it. I don't know how it looks as a Crucible map though. It just seems like an odd choice. I don't know if it's going to be more of a nostalgic thing or if it's going to serve as a really good map. You know, we all, you know, because we're Xbox players and we complain about not getting any of the Sony exclusive stuff. But, you know, the Sony exclusive Crucible map that right now that they have isn't even that great from everything I'm hearing. And I'm wondering if like the Iron Temple map is going to be like that too. Like if it's just going to be a novelty kind of map that's not even going to be that good in the end. So I'm wondering if it's like the grass is greener, you know, like we haven't played it yet, so we think it's going to be great. And, you know, I don't know, we'll see. But that one wasn't blowing my skirt up there as much. But yeah, the Endless Veil, I'm really looking forward to playing on that. It looks really cool.
I mean, just I like to think I'm pretty good at reading Crucible maps. Like that's kind of my thing. Like the first time I played Shores of Time, I was like, oh man, this map is jacked. And that was before they even put like elimination on it and like objective modes. Like you can just kind of tell based off of map design. And it's I mean, the thing that I think Bungie does really well-ish is, so even on maps where they're trying to make it balanced, so each side is essentially the same thing, they still make it asymmetrical, but they don't give... I think kind of a good example of this would be, let's see, kind of like Firebase Delphi almost. Like, it's very asymmetrical, but once, like, each team can get to the middle at the same time, and there's not really too, like, sure, one spawn probably has a little bit of an advantage, but it's not, you know, it's not terrible. But I think an example of something they did terribly wrong with this would be an example of like Black Shield, where one side has a clear advantage to getting in that center. So I think the way Vostok was looking at it actually looks very, very balanced to me. And based on the gameplay, I mean, they were playing with Bungie developers, so maybe they just know all the key routes. But I think that the smaller maps compared with the, you know, every area is now labeled for you. You know, it'll say in the top left-hand corner, you're in the caves, or you're in, I don't know, in the temple or something. You know, it'll give you callouts. I think those two things will make it a very easy to learn experience with a very balanced map. And I'm just getting more and more excited about the beta. You know, I'm disappointed we won't be able to play Vostok in the beta, but I think that the two maps that we will be able to play are good examples of how they're really working on balancing the game, which is something I love. Yeah, does anyone disagree with that? You like it? And anyone want to add anything to that?
No, I mean, like, that's one of the things, if you were playing Control, or even Trials of Osiris when they put it on unbalanced maps, it was a pain in the butt, especially if you were on the side that was, like, had the disadvantage.
Yeah.
Like, you're in the super competitive game mode, and you already are at a disadvantage. So,
and they could have fixed that in Trials by just making you switch sides every round. I don't know why they didn't.
I don't know why they didn't do that, especially in year 3, after they knew that some of those maps were that way.
Were jank. Why would they ever make those maps Trials maps again? You know, like, why would Shores of Time ever be a Trials map in the first place? And especially after the first time it was a Trials map, they should have been like, well, 90% of the time people on side B win, so you know. But
I don't know. The impression I get is that they were already checked out by the time year 3 came around. They already had their sights set on Destiny 2 at that point.
I mean, I wasn't
expecting that much from them.
We wouldn't have gotten all the changes in Dawning. We wouldn't have got all the changes we did. So I just think it was overlooked. I don't know. I feel like Hamrick is the only one in charge of Trials anymore, and I feel like he's got a lot on his plate with trying to balance the entire Crucible with just the regular Crucible. So, but yeah, if that's all, I actually want to jump into community feedback for this one too. Let's see. Someone, I think it was Kiltastic, said, yeah, I bet the Iron Temple map is the PlayStation exclusive. No, they've already confirmed that the PlayStation exclusive will be on a Cabal ship. What's it called, Jay-Z? Do you remember? Retribution?
I can't remember the name of it, but it looked cool. Well, I mean, we'll get it year 2, so at least we'll get that map.
Was it Retribution?
I can't remember.
I think it was Retribution. I believe it was Retribution. Zestia. Okay, so Zestia kind of brought in something. The only thing I dislike about the Vostok map is that they could have had bad weather come in. And then he comes into other things like making us take a tram to the other part of the map or something. I mean, that would be kind of cool, but I don't think
that's more of a Battlefield thing than a Destiny thing.
Yeah, I don't think that would work in Crucible as much, but can you imagine like having snow, like just like blinding snow coming in random points in the Crucible match? So say like at the 3-minute and the 7-minute mark of every match, just like a blizzard blew through and you could barely see anything. Can you imagine how cool that would be?
I think it would be cool to have dynamic weather, yeah.
Yeah. I knew it because that would force people inside buildings and force those close encounters. I think that would be super cool. I don't know. It could just be me. Yeah, maybe even make it so it no, I think I was gonna say make it so it sort of damages you over time, but I actually think that would be kind of too much. But yeah, I think that would be cool. Dynamic
Is there a
weather
game that does that right now? I'm trying to think like if Titanfall or Battlefield does that right now.
Call of Duty has some dynamic weather in their maps, but I don't think it's anything that extreme.
So Scarrow, the name of the map for the PlayStation 4 is City Apex. Or no, sorry, that's the ship.
No, it's not. Yeah,
Lake of Shadow Strike.
Lake of Shadow
Apex
Strike.
Ship.
I think
Borealis
it's Retribution.
Exotic. Retribution PvP map.
Ah, said it. That was me, man.
Yep.
I said that.
Yep. You did.
Let's see, man. I think someone else was saying something. Okay, so I think that's actually, I thought I saw one more. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for these Crucible maps. They look much more balanced. They're smaller, which they have to be because it's 4v4 and not 6v6. But the thing I'm really interested in is they were saying, each of these maps is custom built for their game mode. And we heard gameplay of them saying, this will be a control-only map and stuff. So the thing I'm wondering is is this not going to be available as part of like a Clash playlist, even though Clash and Control play fairly similarly? Asterisk, or are there going to be specific maps built for Clash? Like, is every game mode going to have like 3 or 4 maps built for it? Or what do you guys think?
I hope not. I hope it's a Clash Control type thing because that would make a lot more sense. Because it doubles your maps rather than, just giving you Control and Clash maps. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some Control specific maps, but even those you can still play Clash on. It's not like Clash can pretty much go on any map because you're just killing each other.
I'm thinking there's going to be like maybe a set of maps for casual games and then Rift.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, casual and then competitive.
Yeah.
So like maybe when they're saying Control, it's just for like that, maybe skirmish and stuff because they are really well balanced and as far as I can tell, they'd be really balanced for like a lot of game modes. So, I mean, we'll see, man. We'll see, but that's pretty much. Let me see, man.
Well, so let me make so this, especially looking at the maps that we've seen so far, I know you didn't play. I don't know how much Halo 2 you played. I don't think you did much at all. Okay, so this almost just seeing the maps themselves looks like the Halo 2 of the, this seems like Destiny's Halo 2. I know they're both the second game, but in Halo 2 they condensed a lot of the maps and especially the map packs. They made smaller, more condensed maps, and it was a much better overall PvP experience because that's what you did in Halo. You played single player, and then you moved on to multiplayer when you were done with single player, and you played the crap out of it. So I'm really excited to see a lot of these maps, and yeah, that's basically it. It seems like they're making it in the vein of Halo 2, which was a huge step forward from Halo 1. So let's hope for that.
Yeah, let's hope. Also, I just wanted to point out the new changes to Control. I think this is a good sign for all the game modes, where if you control 0 or 1 flags, you get 1 point for a kill. If you control 2 flags, you get 2 points per kill. And if you control all of them, you get 3. And I think simplifying the scoring system like that is a huge step in the right direction. Because as I pointed out in my video, when you lose because like the other team got like an extra assist or revive or headshot, that's so annoying,
They almost went the opposite way of Call of Duty because I remember when Call of Duty first came out, you got 10 points for a kill, and then they moved it up
now
to
it's just
100.
like it's like 150 and
they're like 1 trillion points for a kill. Yeah, so it's good to see them actually simplifying and going the opposite way, which makes it better. So if they're gonna do esports, which we've talked about before, this makes it more viable for that, I guess. Simplifying the point system.
Yeah, I think simple's always better, to be completely honest, and I'm fine with that. I'm excited to see what they do on the other ones, like elimination, and I guess isn't really okay. So let me rephrase that. I'm excited to see how they simplify the system and other things. So obviously elimination is pretty simple. So that was a terrible example, but maybe in like skirmish. Or Rift or something like that, how they simplify those guys. Or Supremacy. We know Supremacy is coming back. We don't know if Rift is coming back. But that's another thing. Those maps like Control would be really good for Supremacy as well. Just because it's like
Supremacy Control?
Supremacy Control Team Deathmatch. Or, excuse me, a Clash. So yeah, I really think it'll be like a casual maps, competitive maps. I think they'll stay kind of like that.
Yeah, but if you want that, aren't you gonna have a ton more maps, or are you only gonna want to play on like 5 or 6 maps?
Maybe like 7 to 10 maps per, like 7 to 10 for competitive, 7 to 10 for casual, maybe. How many maps did Destiny launch with? 14? Does that sound about right?
I thought it was 12.
I thought it was like 10 to 12.
Okay, so maybe 5 or 6 maps per one. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for that. I think it'll be nice to have some variety, but you know, if it's like 3 maps for Control, 3 for Clash, 3 for Supremacy, then that'll get hella old, you know? So
yeah.
Let's see. So yeah, that's pretty much that. We went through all of the stuff. So pretty much just to wrap up this episode, I really want to talk about returning gun models, because we were having this discussion in our chat where Icono, I hate to call you out like this, but he was, you know, pulling the Bungie is a lazy card. I really want to get everyone's opinion of people who are watching this and watch it later and are watching it live, and your opinion too, Jay-Z. So the thing I want to focus on, which Icono did not specifically comment on, so I could be wrong for this one, how he feels about this, but returning gun models. So what I said in my video was I'm happy that some of the gun models are returning, because if you look like the DIS-47, the PDX-45, a lot of the gun models, the Amalon scout rifles, like the Hungjury, those gun models are returning. They probably won't be called the same thing. More than likely, they won't even be the same archetype, but those gun models are returning. And what I said, I actually like that because it adds continuity. And the example I used was, you know, with Borderlands 2, I don't think there's a single gun model that got carried over from Borderlands 1, and that destroys the continuity. You know, like, what happened to them? Did they just poof out of existence, you know? And especially, you know, with Borderlands, it doesn't matter as much because Gearbox sucks at stories anyways. But in a universe that's so story-heavy like Destiny, where the lore is, I mean, it's hidden, but there's, like, lore dripping out of every aspect out of this game. You just have to look for it. I feel like if we just went into a completely new game and all of these gun models disappeared, it wouldn't make any sense. So I want to get, starting with Icono's opinion, if he thinks it's good or bad that they're coming back, how much he would be okay with, if any, and then we'll jump into Jay-Z, and then finally community things too. So start off Icono.
I'm perfectly fine with gun models. There's an argument that could be made for that as far as being lazy, but I'm not going to make that argument because I haven't played the game yet. I don't know, if they give me a gun model for a fast firing auto rifle, and then let's say it's a fast firing auto rifle in Destiny 1, but in Destiny 2 it's a medium rate auto rifle. I have no problem with that because at least they changed it up. If I'm going to be able to identify the way a gun plays just by the way it looks, I don't know. That to me is marginally lazy, but that's the least of my problems with Bungie as far as making the whole lazy argument. That's the least of my worries. I don't mind gun models. That's okay because honestly, all the guns could look exactly the same, and I would actually prefer it because that would make exotics more exotic.
That's not a bad argument.
I've always said that every auto rifle should look the same, every sniper should look the same, and every shotgun should look the same. That way, when you get your Invective, and when you get your No Land Beyond, and when you get your Gallowhorn, that they actually mean something because it looks completely different. So the gun aesthetics really don't matter a whole bunch to me. So it's not really at the top of my hit list for Bungie.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That brings up a really interesting question. So you know how, the entire premise of the Kvasov was bringing back a reminiscent weapon, and it almost kind of, ruined it, because the Kvasov's really bad in exotic form. So that's the kind of thing. So would you rather all exotics look completely unique, or are you cool with a couple, maybe one that resembles the Red Death, maybe it doesn't function anywhere near the same, but in terms of it looks very similar. Would you be all right with that, or would you just completely new, redesigned weapons?
I mean, when in doubt, one of my biggest requests with Destiny 2 was I want new, I want new, I want new. I don't want the same. And the reason I feel so strongly about that is that they designed a game that they wanted us to grind for 3 freaking years. And we've been staring at these same locations, these same weapons, these same, hell, I can't even give my guardian a haircut. I'm staring at the same face for 3 years. So one of my biggest complaints was that, for 3 years, I've been playing the same thing and looking at the same thing and doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. So I would want new whenever possible. But at the same time, I understand that resources and money are a real thing. And, I understand that stuff is not, never ending, that they do have limits, and I understand that they have to pick their battles, and I have to pick my battles. So I'm not going to complain about not getting something like a new gun model when they could be giving me a completely new stat tree in a super that probably wouldn't have happened if they were wasting their time on gun models. So I don't know. I don't want to fight fights that aren't worth fighting, basically. Now, as far as reusing old models in a cool way, if they used a Red Death model, just do it kind of cool. Have the flavor text on it say something like that. Have it harken back to the Red Death somehow.
Okay.
Don't just reuse the model, because then to me that's once again being lazy. But if you reuse the model and do it in a cool way, in a cool fashion, to where you're talking about it you're making some sort of comment this was the Red Death's better or something like that, and it's got a slightly higher fire rate than the Red Death, then that would actually be kind of cool, because now not only are they using the same model, but they're doing it for a reason that works with the lore and it makes sense in the sequel. So yeah, all I'm saying is that if you're gonna be lazy, at least be clever about being lazy.
Okay. What do you think, Chizzy?
So I think you hit the nail on the head with Borderlands being one of the only games that I can think of where they completely changed guns from first game to second game. You want continuity in your games. Mm-hmm. So,
hell, even in Call of Duties, there's a lot of reoccurring guns.
Exactly. Yeah, or you have the same name of the gun, and they might make it look futuristic, but it's the same. Some of the newer Call of Duties, they created their own weapons because they're futuristic titles, but a lot of them still had harken back to even older Call of Duty weapons, stuff like that. So you want continuity in your weapon models, and aesthetics on weapons do matter to me. There's guns that I won't use because I don't like the look of it in my hand.
Yeah.
There's especially some of the Hake pulse rifles and stuff like that. So I'm perfectly okay with them, especially since there's going to be 6 archetypes for each type of weapon. There's obviously going to be different weapons, and then your exotics, I don't care if they reuse old exotic models for things, even if it's just a legendary. What was the weapon? I'm trying to think. That they
Stranger's
used
Rifle?
Stranger's Rifle, and then I thought they had one where they used an exotic, but they made it a legendary. Or they used the exotic model, but they changed the color of it, made it a legendary. I could be wrong on that.
What?
But anyways,
I don't think so.
Okay, but they reused old models from Crota's End Raid for year 2 legendaries.
Oh yeah,
some of the PvP ones, you had your the pulse rifle and the scout rifle both had, but they changed the coloring, and I didn't like using those, and because I didn't like the aesthetics of them, but you've got to draw a line somewhere where you have these assets, and maybe we'll change the color palette of it a little bit and give it a little bit different stat rolls.
If you think about it, it's kind of dumb to only use a gun model once, to be completely honest. Maybe not in the terms of exotics, but for everything else, they put so much time and effort into those. Yeah. It doesn't make sense not to use them again, so I'm kind of cool with that.
No, I completely agree. I didn't like any of the Crota's End, the look of them, especially when they changed the colors. I thought they looked dumb, but...
Just to intervene real quick, Alexander Harlow says the Red Spectre and IS Luna, I assume he's talking about exotics into legendaries.
Yes,
so the Red Spectre would probably be the Suros.
And the IS Luna had the same gun model as the Hawkmoon. Yeah. I thought there was at least one, but yeah, both of the Red Spectre was an auto rifle, but it had the same type of structure as the Red Death.
Well, no, I think it's just the Suros model.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay.
But the IS Luna had the same model, only different coloring as the Hawkmoon. But so like in those, I like the looks of and then they look like completely different weapons, even though they had the same type of model just from the coloring. So like they did it in Destiny 1, so why not do it in Destiny 2? Yeah, I'm just excited to see some of the exotics that they pull out on that, because I think they're gonna do a better job of like making better exotics.
I mean, even just the exotics we've seen right now, we've seen a minigun, a hella unique hand cannon, that little like claw thing that we haven't seen again, that kind of looked like maybe a rocket launcher or grenade launcher. We've seen the dubious volley. Yeah, I mean, pretty much the only one that doesn't look unique or like super impressive is like the Risk Runner SMG. I mean, even the Cold Heart, man. The Cold Heart looked super awesome. So. And
I'm guessing come year 2 they'll bring back, and this is just a guess, but I'm guessing they'll bring back some Destiny 1 fan favorite exotics come year 2 or even year 3. When the content's starting to run low a little bit.
That would be so cool.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool too, but you'll be tired of like playing with the normal exotics in Destiny 2, and then it'll be cool to pick up some of the. At least it seems like that's something that they would do around that time period.
Yeah, just bring back all the old raids too. Yeah, it's kind of like the same thing. Like people at the end of year 1, people were like, "We're so sick of these raids, give us new ones." And then by this year, people were like, "We want Vault of Glass back." The same thing's gonna happen with Destiny 2.
Yeah, I mean it makes financial sense because they've got the assets already made. They just have to just redo a few things in it. So yeah, I thought it was a genius idea because it shouldn't have taken their team that much longer to create, to up the. They just had to create exotics versions of the legendary weapons basically.
Yeah.
And yeah.
All right, man. That's pretty much everything. Anything else to add to that? I don't think anyone in chat really had much to say about that one. Everyone seemed to pretty much agree with that it's almost necessary to reuse some of them. That one thing I noticed, the only guns that we've seen that have reoccurring models look all dirty and beaten up and stuff. So it might only be like the green and the blues might be the only reused models in the game. Just that
that'd be kind of cool, because then it would like signify that the new legendaries are more powerful than the previous ones. Things like that.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool, and it would like show off maybe like our armor too. A lot of like armor returns, but only as greens and blues. I think that's a really cool aspect to the game. Like it all does get destroyed. We can salvage some of it, but in the end of the day, it's just useless. I think that's a pretty cool idea. All right, everyone ready to jump into community input? Anything else to add to that?
No, let's do it.
All right. Pretty much, I mean, there hasn't been too much. Scarrow Jr. asked, do you think the giant machine gun is Titan exclusive? No. We have no reason to believe that it is. Those are just the pre-builds. Like, if you look at the builds everyone was playing with in all the gameplay, that's just the builds that they're playing on. Also, it looks like that gun was more powerful in the gameplay. When I played with it, it was like shooting marshmallows, but they were actually doing pretty well with it.
But he was revving it up.
Before
he started shooting.
If you look at the comments in the videos, everyone's like, "Rip the walls."
Yeah, but I mean that's what he was doing. He was getting it to the the
max
speed
fire
up.
rate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty good idea. That was the Bungie developer, by the way. You can tell, like, whenever it was like the Warhawk gameplay, it's people like shooting the ground, and then it switches over to the Titans, and it's just Bungie developers like pre-revving guns and strategically placing Titan walls and the choke points and getting team wipes with their supers and stuff. It's so freaking funny. But yeah, it's pretty much that. And then sort of relating that, Jason the Master King asked, "Are class exclusive weapons coming back?" Who knows? I don't think it really makes that much sense. Maybe. Like, if you have... There's certain guns, like the shotgun that I can't think of for the Titan. What's that one called? Someone help me here.
Oh, the one that nobody uses? I don't remember either.
Was it a Mobius or something?
A Mobius, yeah, there you go. So that makes sense. It plays off of your ability. Same thing with the Talak. For Warlocks, it plays off your class abilities. That would pretty much only work with Warlock, especially self-res. But I just don't know if they're going to return. I mean, it would be cool. I'd be fine if they did. But I'm just not sure if they will. What do you guys think?
Hopefully it's not as overpowered as the Talak. Because that thing was a beast.
Maybe if they are as powerful, maybe make things like the Ace of Spades not complete garbage, please. So
you mean the Fatebringer, legendary Fatebringer? It's basically Ace of Spades.
There you go.
Yeah.
Let's see. Why didn't they change the Hunter as much as other classes? Well, if you kind of look at it, first off, I would challenge anyone else, because I've tried to do this, to come up with subclass ideas that don't resemble previous subclass ideas, that aren't something weird like Taken subclasses or Siva or Hive, or something completely original that doesn't resemble subclasses. It's difficult to do, So, I mean, Arcstrider is pretty similar to Blade Dancer, I'll give you that, but they've got the entire kind of like voodoo aspect going on. They're super dodgy, they can throw their staff to some extent, they're super fast. I like that, man. But
I think they took, especially for Arcstrider, they took the complaints of Blade Dancer and
fixed it.
Listened to them and gave them more range, gave them more dodging ability while dancing towards the target. So like, I don't know in the continuity, like we're not plugged into the Matrix, so they can't just learn kung fu or different abilities like with downloading.
That would be awesome if you're walking through the Traveler and then lightning just hits your Hunter and he just looks up and he goes, "I know kung fu," and then he spawns like a giant arc staff and then he starts doing like backflips and shit. That would be so cool.
So I mean, they're gonna be similar because it's the same classes. So unless they come up with a whole new like character class, you're going to have similar abilities.
Yeah.
Plus, you don't want continuity again. You want them to be similar, but yet different in the same aspect from the previous game as well.
And, to the same extent, we already kind of know the limitations of light. And so, I mean, they have to make it within those confines. But once again, like, there's like 3 types of supers. Like, I'll say 4 types of supers. Like, so stationary supers, you just use them, right? There's not much you can do else with that. Maybe the difference between like a support like a bubble and an offensive one like a striker. Not really anything you can do with that. But then you have roaming supers that are melee. You have roaming supers that are shooting. And you have roaming supers... Did I say there were... Shoot, I forgot what the third one was.
Bows. Like bow. The bow? Or...
Well, even the bow. That's essentially just shooting, right? I mean, it's... So I'll count those.
So how
as
about
3.
support supers? That'd be a support super. So bubble, bow, support super.
Yeah. So 4 things I can really think of. Well, let's go with that. Support supers, offensive stationary supers, mobile supers that have range, mobile supers that are only melee. Other than those things, like there's not a lot of stuff you can do with supers, so they're gonna overlap quite a bit, right? So I'm kind of fine with that. Of course, you have like the self-res, come back from the dead. That's obviously unique. But they're wanting to shy away from that because things that are that unique are really powerful. They're hard to balance. But if you have subclasses that essentially sort of function the same with different aesthetics, it's a lot easier to balance, and it makes more sense like in the lore kind of thing, And
that seems to be like what they're going for, because they're trying to make like every time I've heard like Luke Smith in an interview about supers, he said the same thing every time. He keeps saying, "I don't want you running around with a full super bar. I want you using your super." So, he doesn't want, like, the Warlock to be, on Sunsinger and never popping, your super because you got your self-res waited to go. He doesn't want a Titan sitting on his super because he's waiting for the right moment to hit a bubble, He said, "I want you to use your supers. I want you to go around. I want your super to be a way for you to wreck house. If there's a way for you to support your team while you're doing it, go for it. But your super is mainly there to destroy your enemy." And that's what he said, and that's honestly what they're doing. I mean, he kind of made that his mantra for Destiny 2, and he seems to be sticking to it so far.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I mean, I like them making the super so powerful, especially since like the abilities aren't, they don't reload as far or recharge as quickly and stuff like that. But I think it's in a good place right now. At first, these drastic changes they cause quite a reaction. But if you really take time, you look at the reason behind it, you actually get to play some of it, you see a lot of gameplay. A lot of this stuff makes a lot of sense. And I think that's the thing. I think we have to learn to trust Bungie a little bit more. They obviously get to play the game every day. And while there are things that a team of 200 people can't find that a team of 20 million players can with relative ease, I think, you know, they've played the game more than all of us combined at this point. So I think we just need to put our trust in them for now. They're putting a lot of work and effort into making this game everything that Destiny 2 or Destiny 1 was not. And I'm pretty excited for that. Let's see, man. Yeah, Savage saying, I want Titans to have the least mobility of any class. If they keep it the way it was at the Destiny reveal event, they are. So maybe, but
they should. I mean, honestly, like they're known as the tanks. They shouldn't have speed plus, you know, being the tankiest character.
So, but that's the thing. That's why people were getting worried in the gameplay that IGN's showing. They're really fast. But so there's this controversy. So it is a different build. It's a completely separate build. So the things people need to learn about builds. So a build is like a sandwich. And, you know, when you're making a completely different sandwich, sometimes they have the same ingredients, sometimes they have different, sometimes they have, like, older ingredients kind of stuff. So this is a newer build, but there are so many different aspects that go into a build that it seems like the movement system just wasn't replaced with the new movement system for this build. So it's looking like Titans won't be able to Titan escape, but they might be able to, but who really knows in the end kind of thing until we actually get to play the game. Until the final build is assembled in what I assume to be the beta, or at least the closest to the final build we're going to see until the game launches. So we'll see. However they function in the beta, I feel like is how they're going to function initially in Destiny 2, unless they publicly come out and say something else. So Run-In just brought up a good point. So when I was saying that subclasses essentially function the same, and he said function the same, that person throws a damn sword. I mean, that's the same as a Titan throwing a hammer, though, and it even has the melee with the sun charge. I mean, it functions very similarly. It's the same element, even. And that's the thing, like, the point I was trying to get across, you know, supers, there's only so many ideas for supers. And so I give them originality points for the kind of staff, sword, shield idea. That's a really, really cool idea. It plays into the rock, paper, scissors really well. But... you know, eventually they're going to run out of ideas, and then we just kind of have to prepare for that, because there's only, like, I mean, even if you look at a game like Overwatch and Call of Duty, a lot of those, like, abilities per class overlap a lot, and even, like, Call of Duty with, like, the Annihilator and Black Ops 3, that's Golden Gun, and that kind of stuff. There's a lot of abilities in different video games that overlap a lot, and I think that's just inherent of the ability system. There's only so many things you can do without being super overpowered, so... yeah, let me see. What do you guys think? Throw in stuff while I look for a comment. I don't want this shit to be silent.
Oh, I like the silence. Awkward silence is best.
Awkward silence is best?
Yeah, no pressure there.
Oh, man.
So a pirate walks into a bar. No, I'm just playing.
I mean, that pretty much looks like all the community feedback, I guess. I don't want to put you guys on the spot, but looking at it, I mean, subclasses are going to function exactly the same with different aesthetics. It's just how it works. But I think the thing that matters in the end is that the aesthetics are really cool and they add something new to the subclass. They give it a cool twist. And it's balanced. I think subclasses being balanced is going to be the biggest thing rather than unique subclasses, in my opinion. I don't know how everyone feels about that, but I think that's the most important because replayability.
Well, yeah, you want it as unique as possible. You don't want them to all feel similar. Yeah, I mean, it makes the most sense that way.
Okay, well, that's pretty much this episode. Next week, don't forget, guys, episode 26. In celebration of episode 25. That's just what we're gonna say for now. So. We're going to be doing the live episode. They're always live episodes. I don't know why the hell I just said that. We're going to be playing the beta. We are going to be playing the beta live, giving our opinions on it. We'll probably do like the story mission, strike, maybe a Crucible match. Oh, Jesus. We'll see. We'll see. But I'm looking forward to it.
We can do it. Yeah.
It's our commentary for the Crucible map is going to be like, oh, this is pretty fun. Oh, dang it. Jay-Z, why didn't you get my back? What are we doing? No, Jay-Z. Oh,
well, that might be you, but I can do 2 things at once, so...
Are we wiping?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he just jumps off the edge.
It's a Crucible match.
It's a Crucible match.
Freaking Icano's going to be like just killing himself over and over and over again. All right. One more comment. Do you think they will have stuff like 3 of Coins and Motes of Light from Football Game? I think our Football G-Man. So I think Motes of Light will be returning. 3 of Coins. I hope they do not. They ruined Destiny as far as I'm concerned. I'm just
Correct.
not. Yeah. So hopefully not. No 3 of Coins, please. But everything else is fine. Yeah, that's pretty much that. Anyone else have anything to say, or are we good for outros?
I do find it interesting that they have not mentioned yet to date how the currency works. I mean, come to think about it, though, before Destiny 1, they didn't tell us how Motes of Lights worked then either. So you can't really expect them to talk about Ascendant Shards when the game hasn't even come out yet.
Yeah, like, did Motes of Light even have anything... Yeah,
no.
before you could put them to the speaker to convert them to stuff or use them for experience, they weren't really good for anything, right?
No, they literally collected dust in your inventory. I always thought they were useless until year 2 when you could start trading them into the speaker, and then the second half of year 2 when you could start using them to level up your weapons.
Mm-hmm.
But I just find it interesting that they're being asked, like, hey, how's the currency work? Is there 3 of Coins? Is there Motes of Light? Do we get raid materials to level up our raid gear with again? Do we have to do that? And they've avoided that question every single time. So that's telling me one of 2 things. First thing is that they could be working on something huge that will be awesome and everybody's going to love it, and they don't want to spoil it. They want it to be a happy day for the community when they discover it. Or they really just don't know yet, and they're still working on it.
Yeah, maybe they're still balancing it.
Yeah,
if you think about it, like, currency isn't a huge part of the Destiny universe anyways. Like, Glimmer's sort of important, sure, but, I mean, it's unimportant enough to be capped at 25,000, Like, you can buy, like, 25 heavy synths at one time, and that's, like, Glimmer doesn't play nearly as big of a role as, like, killing things does, So... I don't really blame them. I don't know. I'm not really too interested in the currency. Like, it'll be cool just to kind of figure out how, like, upgrading materials are going to work. Are planetary materials coming back? Are there going to be, like, armor materials and weapon materials? What's going to go on there? But other than that, I'm not really too... I mean, it is what it is kind of thing, But, yeah. That's pretty much it. Well, I've been Scaro9. You can find me Scaro9 on YouTube or at Scaro9 on Twitter. Icano and then Jay-Z, do your things, man.
I am XX Iconoclast. You can find me on Xbox Live and on Twitter using that.
Jay-Z Basketball 25. You can find me on Twitter as well as Xbox Live.
And I just want to point out one thing. I hope that legendary marks don't come back just so Jay-Z will shut up about doing something or getting an extra chest for 3 legendary marks he'll never use.
Dude, let's go do patrol right now. Legendary marks, let's go.
Ooh, can I get some spin metal?
Yeah, spin metal.
Right? Can I save my strange coins for Xur and Destiny 2?
Only if you trade me helium filaments for them. Right. I got you.
What, dude? Have you ever seen my vault? You can have all of my helium filaments. I actually had to delete like 500 of every material so I could have room in my vault. Yeah, my vault's not loading. Yeah, will you?
Yeah.
It's stupid, man. It is actually stupid how much planetary materials I have. But yeah, okay. Well, that was episode 25. Next week will be an extra live edition. That's what I'm gonna call it. I like that. But man, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you're watching on YouTube later, share it around with your friends. Leave your comments and thoughts down in the comment section, and we'll have a discussion. But yeah, until next time. Like I said, I've been Scaro9, Iconoclast, Jay-Z Basketball, and we will see you next week.
Peace.
Peace.